Hello and welcome to your first aid for neurospicy meltdown video. I'm Isabella, and if you've been dealing with daily meltdowns, explosive behaviors, or feeling like you are failing no matter what you try, this video is for you. This 20-minute video is not another 5 tips to stay calm video. It's your emergency response plan, the first aid kit for when your child is overwhelmed and you are running on fumes. This video is your recipe to calm, grounded response that you can actually remember and use when it matters the most. And I promise to give you the plan to handle meltdowns in the heat of the moment. Because if you know me, if you've been in my world for a little while, you know that I'm always about being proactive. But today we are talking about those difficult moments when you and your child feel dysregulated. So you can bring calm back fast, avoid escalation, and finally feel more in control when things go sideways with your neurodivergent child. And this masterclass is for you if you feel like you're constantly walking on edge, bracing, waiting for yet another meltdown. And I know that you've tried the sticker chart, timeouts, other rewards and punishments, but nothing actually changes. And you feel helpless when your child explodes and you don't know how to help, and you are exhausted from yelling, from negotiation, or giving in all the time over the same fights just to keep the peace. And I know that you want calm, practical response that actually works for your neurodivergent child. Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm mom to Dominic and Oliver, 14 and 12, two neurodivergent teenagers. Dominic ADHD and Oliver undiagnosed autistic. And wife to Angus and also neurodivergent. And when my husband and then my children were diagnosed, I looked for support, I looked for help, and there was nothing there that would work for us. That's why I founded ADHD Pathfinder, so I can help other families just like mine navigate through those difficult moments. We live on our Scottish Islands and we love it here despite very unforgiving weather. My top value is connection, and that's exactly what I was looking for when I wanted support for our family. And connection is at the heart of my work with neurodivergent families. But before I started on that journey, I was just another mom trying desperately to help my son. And I had no parenting strategy that worked. Just like you, I was brought up in the home that was designed for neurotypical people, a single parent home where my mom worked a lot, tried her best, but her main way of parenting us was shouting. And that's exactly what I brought to my family. That was my first response when my children were struggling. And to be honest, I was my son's first bully. When he sat at the dinner table trying to do his homework when he was just 5 years old, and I was just pushing and shouting at him. And it was heartbreaking. I'm so ashamed of that. But I didn't know any better. That was the way that I was brought up. And hey, I turned up fine, didn't I? I had no support. I had no confidence. And honestly, I had no clue what to do, what kind of parent I should be for my neurodivergent children. So they would thrive, they would succeed, they would be those amazing young people that they are becoming right now. But I had desire. I wanted to do better. I wanted to do different. I didn't want to repeat that cycle of shouting that I came from. So I searched for a lot of parenting advice. I read books. I finished psychology degree. I researched different parenting courses. I attend different parenting courses. But then none of them were really designed for neurodivergent kids, and they didn't align with my desire for connection, for empathy and understanding. And that's until I found collaborative and proactive solutions model by Dr. Rose Green. That's when I jumped with 2 feet in, read the books, certified in that approach, because I know that it's evidence based. I know it works because I've done it with my children, my family, and hundreds of other families that use this approach as well. And the truth is that your child isn't naughty. They are struggling, and the meltdowns, they are not random. Whatever you heard before, and you might feel as well that the meltdowns, the behaviors, the explosions come out of nowhere. Your child goes from 0 to 100 in a split of seconds. But trust me, those behaviors are not random. There is always a root cause. We just have to know what to look for. And the behaviors, the meltdowns, they are not your fault. You are not too hard. You are not too soft. You are just using parenting techniques that are not designed for your neurodivergent child. And their behavior is not a reflection of your parenting. The behaviors are the clues. The behaviors are the stress response, the signal. The meltdowns aren't the problem. They are the signals, stress response. They are your child's way of communicating that they have difficulty meeting certain expectations. And if you think about it, your child already meets a lot of expectations from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. They get dressed, they go and have their breakfast, they go through all the transitions, they go to school, they complete their work to best of their abilities. They sit at lunch with their peers. They come home, they attempt their homework, they brush their teeth, they switch off their devices. There is hundreds of expectations that your child has to meet every day, and probably only handful of or two of expectations that they're struggling with. So let's think about why behavior, why the screaming, why the kicking, why the hitting or throwing or spitting, swearing, and so on. Why all those explosive concerning behaviors? Why the meltdowns? Why this behavior icebergs show you exactly what's going on underneath. So above, we see the behaviors, but actually those are not important. Those are just stress responses. And that's what most parenting techniques get wrong, because most parenting approaches tell you to focus on the meltdowns, focus on behavior, shut that behavior. And if you don't, they make you feel bad. They say, well, if you don't stop that behavior now, they will always walk over you. They will always misbehave, they are just lazy, they are just limit testing. But we know that that's not true, especially when we look beneath that iceberg. And then we will see what actually our kids' difficulty is. Because as I said, the meltdowns is just the signal, it's the fever, stress response. You want to treat the fever. So, what's usually underneath the iceberg? Those are the skills that our children struggling with, like emotional regulation, flexibility, transitions, problem solving, managing sensory environment, difficulty with the sense of time, shifting from original plan idea that they have in their head, and empathizing with others. That we know that our children have difficulty with theory of mind, so actually knowing what other people are might be thinking or feeling. Or maybe they have difficulty with managing sensory environments, interoception, knowing what's going on inside their body, knowing when they need a toilet, knowing when they're hungry. And because they're struggling with that, and those things might come up as behaviors because our children don't recognize those signals. So when your child explodes over small things, for example, switching off their devices and coming on for dinner, it's not about defiance, it's not that they want to make your life difficult, but it is about transitions, it's about the shifting from one task to another, that is especially the ones that are less desirable. And we know that our kids struggle to find solutions to those problems. That's why they need our guidance, our support. So, as much as we want and we should address those root causes, those things that are underneath the icebergs, the things that cause the meltdowns, it's impossible to prevent them 100% of times. And that's why I want to give you this 3-step first aid plan for when things go sideways. So, step number 1 is pause. And let's be real, when your child is already screaming, throwing, hitting, or shutting down, that's not the time to fix anything. That's the time to steady the ship. And it starts with you. Step 1 is for you to pause. And I know when everything in your body wants to jump in or raise your voice or make a stop, especially when those things happen in public places. Pausing goes against every instinct you've been taught, everything that tells you in your body that I want to fix this, I want to stop this. But here is what we are rarely told as parents. When we pause, we interrupt the power struggle. We stop the pattern of pushing harder, and instead we create stability. Taking the breath doesn't mean you are giving in. It means you are choosing regulation over escalation. When you pause, you are not trying to fix things in the moment. Or, trying to say perfect thing to make your child stop melting down over the toy that you cannot get them right now. You are grounding yourself so you can become your child's anchor. Because your nervous system talks to your child's nervous system. If you escalate, they cannot calm down. But when you stay regulated, you create a sense of safety emotionally and physically. So take the breath, drop your shoulders, and soften the tone. You can even say out loud to yourself, I know it's hard, but I don't need to fix this yet. I just need to pause. This meltdown will pass. That phrase alone has helped so many parents step out of the chaos and into the calm. It's not just a script, it's an anchor. And sometimes that one pause in the moment changes everything. So don't think that you need to jump in and fix it. You don't need to stop it. You don't need to push your child harder to meet certain expectation. You just need to stop and take a breath and break that cycle. Step number 2 is to observe. Now you've paused, you took your breath. Now you are ready to observe. Before you say anything, just stop and notice what is happening right now. This is your moment to gather information, not to give instruction. Because if you gather information, you can be prepared next time. You are more present. So you can actually prevent this happening over and over again. So you can ask yourself, what just happened? What might be hard about this moment, about this situation right now? What's the difficulty here? What did I ask my child to do that they are struggling with? Is this about a transition? Is it about a sensory overload? Maybe it's about unpredictability. Or maybe they are just tired or hungry or thirsty. Or maybe they've not been to the toilet after school yet. Ask yourself, is this a fire that we are putting down over and over again? Because if it is, it means that it's time to start solving those problems. Because just reacting in the moment, it's not changing anything. You are still there in the same cycle of managing behaviors, of living in the crisis management. And that's not a good place to be in. Observing helps you move out of the blame mode and into curiosity. Instead of thinking, why are they doing this again? Why are they not listening? Why are they so defiant? You are asking, what's getting in their way? What's difficult for them here? And when you start spotting the patterns, you can stop reacting to the same fires on repeat. Because the real power of observation isn't just to get through this meltdown, it's to notice what's keep showing up so you can start being proactive, not just reactive. This doesn't mean you are excusing the behavior, it means that you are trying to understand it so you can respond wisely and eventually prevent the struggle altogether. You can even think of this step like being a detective. Something made this moment hard. Your job as a parent isn't to punish the reaction, it's to uncover the trigger, the root cause. And you can only do this by observing. Because when you understand what's going on underneath, you are in much better position to make things go right the next time. Step 3 is connection. Now that you are calmer and your brain is back online, you observed, you gathered information, you are ready for step 3, connection. This step is all about showing your child that they are safe. They are not being fixed. in the moment, not being corrected, taught, or lectured, or punished and pushed harder. This is the moment to hold them emotionally. In this moment, don't use logic. Don't ask why. Don't give instruction. Because your child's brain is not able to respond adaptively in this moment. So try saying something like, it looks like something is really hard right now. It's okay. It will pass. I'm here. We can figure it out together. These aren't magic words, they are connection bridges. They say, you are not alone. I see you. Your feelings, your emotions are valid. And I'm not leaving you to figure it out all by yourself. Because here's the truth, you cannot teach when your child's brain is in a survival mode. You can't solve anything while the nervous system is dysregulated. The first A plan, pause, observe, connect, isn't about ignoring behaviors. It's about responding to the need underneath it. So you can guide them back to calm without adding fuel to the fire. So to recap, I know it's not always easy in the heat of the moment. But with practice, this will become your second nature. And it's one of the most powerful gifts you can give your child, a parent who responds with steadiness, not stress. And why does this work? Most traditional parenting advice tells you to correct the behavior, to punish it, or to ignore it completely. That's why usually we send kids to their room when they cry. We put them on a naughty step. We take their privileges. But here's the problem. That only works in the child that has the skills, that can do better, that lacks motivation. But our children lack skills. And the truth is, if they could do well, they would do well. Meltdowns, outbursts, refusals, those aren't signals of your child being manipulative or naughty, lazy. They're signal that something is hard for them. And if you want a long-term change, I know that real change happens when you start solving problems that are underneath the icebergs. Not by yourself, but together with your child, because your child is an expert in what's hard for them. And they are your problem solving partner. And through that problem solving, they learned the skills they need to be able to meet your expectations, to be able to respond adaptively when things get hard, when they get frustrated, when they have a problem, when they stuck. And those are the things we want to teach our kids. And if you want to find out more, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, please message me, respond to this email, and I'm happy to help, to support you, to have a chat. Until next time, bye for now.